All right, today we are stepping onto the sacred clay, into the world of Japan's national sport, sumo. And what a world it is. You've got this incredible mix of immense power, ancient tradition, and a surprising amount of complexity. The very first thing that hits you is just the impact. It's like two mountains of pure muscle and sheer will colliding. And that sound, that force, it just echoes. That single moment of explosive energy is called the tachi-ai. But then you start to notice the details, right? You see the wrestlers throwing salt, purifying the ring, the dohyo. You see them doing these powerful stomps to literally drive out evil spirits. And that's when you realize, oh, this is way more than just a fight. It's a living, breathing ceremony with deep roots in Shintoism. I mean, for centuries, sumo has been completely woven into the fabric of Japanese culture. The wrestlers, the rikishi, they're not just athletes. No way. They're seen as these living examples of discipline, of strength, of the quintessential Japanese spirit itself. So behind that huge spectacle, behind the roar of the crowd, there's this hidden world of just extreme discipline, incredible sacrifice, and yeah, a lot of controversy. So what does it really take to become one of these giants of the ring? Okay, let's dive into this. To really understand a sumo wrestler, you have to go right to the source, the sumo's stable, or what's called a heya. This is the all-encompassing universe where a young kid is literally forged into a rikishi. Life in the heya is total immersion. I mean, from the second they join, a wrestler's entire life is controlled by that stable and its master, the oyakata. The whole system is designed to build not just unbelievable physical strength, but also this unbreakable character through absolute, unrelenting discipline. And you gotta understand, this world is brutally hierarchical. The life of a junior wrestler, it's basically a life of servitude. They're the first ones up, the last ones to eat. They cook, they clean, they serve the senior wrestlers, and they do it all for just a tiny allowance. Their only hope is to one day, somehow, climb the ranks and earn the privileges of a salaried secretary. But here's the thing. This incredibly harsh system can also create an unbelievable sense of loyalty. Just listen to this quote from a young wrestler named Konishiki. Seeing his own stablemaster defend him, it just broke him down in a good way. It gave him the resolve to push through all that hardship and be the best. And the odds of making it, wow, they are absolutely staggering. Think about it. Out of around 800 active wrestlers, only about 66, that's it, reach the top two divisions where they actually earn a salary. It is such a narrow path to success. It demands dedication that is almost superhuman. But for the very few who do make it all the way to the top, they become true legends. So let's talk about the absolute pinnacle of the sport, the grand champion, the yokozuna. You have guys like Hitachiyama from the early 20th century. He's often seen as the perfect embodiment of what a yokozuna should be. For him, a wrestler had to carry the spirit of a samurai, blending that immense strength with just perfect honor and grace, both on the dohyo and off. And then you get legends like Wakanohana. They called him the devil of the dohyo, and for good reason. He was just pure fighting spirit. He was actually kind of small for a top wrestler, but his relentless, aggressive style and his notoriously brutal training let him just topple absolute giants. And some of these stories, they just reveal such a profound human depth. Take Hagoroyama. After suffering this unimaginable tragedy, losing his wife and his young son in the same year, he comes back to the ring and becomes almost invincible. It's like he was channeling all that grief into this unstoppable force. But you know, this ancient world with all its strict codes and traditions, it was bound to clash with the pressures of the modern era, and that's led to some major controversies. So a lot of the conflict comes down to this one idea, this one word, hinkaku. See, to become a yokozuna, it's not enough to just win all the time. A wrestler also has to have hinkaku, this unwritten, totally subjective measure of dignity and grace. And who gets to decide that? Well, that's where it gets controversial. And this all just exploded in 1992 with the Hawaiian-born wrestler Konishiki. He was on this incredible winning streak, right on the verge of becoming the first ever foreign-born yokozuna. But he was denied the promotion. A committee member basically suggested he lacked hinkaku. The whole thing blew up into this huge international incident. Konishiki held a press conference in tears, denying these inflammatory quotes people were saying he said. Many just accused the Sumo Association of plain old racism. And honestly, that's not the only shadow. There have been allegations of match fixing bubbling up for over 100 years. The gaijin, or foreigner question, is still really sensitive, which led to a rule that limits stables to just one non-Japanese wrestler. And look, even way back in 1932, you had the Shunjuin incident, where a ton of wrestlers went on strike for better pay. So this tension, it's really nothing new. So, despite all the hardships, all the controversies, sumo just endures. It's this unique cultural force. And to really understand why, you have to look beyond the fight itself. Because at its very heart, sumo is a religious rite. The dohyo itself is a sacred space. It carries the echoes of the samurai code, where honor is prized above everything else. And in the end, its champions are given the massive task of representing the very soul of the nation. It is just so much more than a sport. And that leaves us with this huge question, right? As Japan and the rest of the world just keep changing, keep modernizing, can this ancient sport, with its rigid traditions and deep spiritual roots, actually maintain its soul? Or will the pressures of today inevitably transform it into something completely different? That, right there, is the ultimate bout.